Hi everyone, I am Adam Harris from Capital Markets Elite Group UK, and I would like to take you through some higher time frame views on some equities that have caught my eye, and especially as we head towards the end of the year and then in the new year, there are certain charts that I will be putting on my watch list and obviously keeping an eye and to see how they unfold. So the first one that I'm going to do is just have a look here at Berkshire Hathaway. Now, one of the reasons that I like Berkshire Hathaway, obviously this is headed up by Warren Buffett and recently sadly deceased Charlie Munger, is of course that one of the things that Warren Buffett has always tried to do, aside from try to pick really good companies, is to also create diversification. And so in its own way, and this is a little bit of a stretch, but it's not completely ridiculous, Berkshire Hathaway can act as a sort of weather vane for the state of the market, right? In theory, it tends to be profitable in almost every single year, bear markets as well. Not always, but most of the time, and therefore Berkshire Hathaway tends to do relatively well, but we can see also gives us a good state of the market. So if Berkshire Hathaway is doing very well, it's almost similar to looking at an index. So one of the things I want to just highlight here is that we've seen price pull back to the 50-period moving average, which is the red one. So I've got a blue 20, white 10, and red 50. These are just simple moving averages. And then we can see that if we look at the most recent price action, we've had a really nice correction down towards the 50-period moving average. Every now and again, obviously, the market does need to kind of have a nice little bit of a reset. We've currently then, or recently, sorry, pulled up, produced a higher low. So we've produced this nice little swing low, and the market has just created a fresh high here. So currently, this indicating that the momentum for this is more likely heading to the upside than anywhere else. We could see also, if we look at the MACD, we could see a nice move up here and a pullback. We've got a nice move up here and a pullback. So all of this is currently in agreement, convergence, basically saying that the market is bullish at this time. Next up, I want to have a look at NVIDIA. So one of the things I want to highlight here is, of course, that when a market is incredibly aggressive, very bullish, we can see here on the monthly time frame, we've got a high on the MACD. So again, confirming the market is bullish. We've broken up here. We've got a high. We've pulled back. Very nice little swing low that we formed here, very close to that 10-period moving average. So this is moving higher aggressively, and it's done a little bit of a consolidation over the last 3 or 4 months. We can see it going sideways here, now starting to edge back up towards the high. So if I change that to a weekly time frame, this is where it gets interesting to me. So I would have preferred a deeper correction down towards the previous high. I would have preferred something like that to let off a bit of the heat, but it does appear at this time, although we are sitting within a range, that it is looking as though it is anticipating breaking out of the range. So why do I say that? Well, we had a little bit of a lower high, lower low in this part of the consolidation. But when it breached the low, it immediately came back in and closed heavily into the middle with a bullish engulfing candle. That is a very, very strong sign. Price then came up and created a fresh high. So this high over here, higher than the previous high. It then pulled back into the previous highs over here and produced a bullish candle. So in other words, it's a break and a retest, and has subsequently formed a swing low here. So this in isolation is a very bullish type of behavior, and it is very close to that upward level or the upper level of that resistance, and therefore it looks as though at this time it is wanting to make an attempt to break out of it. It's at a good consolidation after a good run, and this behavior in isolation is relatively bullish. However, I'm always cautious. I want to really see it break out of that, but this behavior is implying that it is definitely going to take a run at it, and good luck to it. We'll see if it ultimately does that. So it's a really good run, nice consolidation, and a really nice bullish pattern setup and behavior that's forming here close to a level of resistance. So it needs to just needs to successfully break through that level of resistance. And then as I wrap up, there's just 2 more that I want to discuss, and they're essentially ETFs. So you may or may not be familiar with Cathie Wood's ARK. They have a series of ETFs, and also, again, they were, had a very rough time during the 2022 bear market and are now starting to test fresh highs. So if you treat this area as a consolidation, it is testing the upper area and is potentially likely to break out from that. So I quite like that. Again, there could be some upside potential on this. And this, the one that I'm currently looking at the moment, is the ETF, the ARK Capital Innovation ETF. Now let's just have a look as well at the FinTech one. You can see this has started to change its trend. So now it has a much more series of higher lows, high highs. It's creating fresh highs here. And this one has started to go from behaving occupying area below the moving averages, and on top of the moving averages, it's now starting to rise above the moving averages. And again, that's more of a bullish type of behavior. Again, in these situations, I'd be looking for pullbacks and looking for an entry into that. I don't really want to get into it when it's overextended. And you can see now that we have the 50, 20, and 10 in a bullish formation, price has recently taken off. I'll be waiting for any kind of pullbacks into recent levels of support, potentially then looking for some opportunities. So I'm going to leave you with that. There's plenty to think about and chew on. There are, I believe, this bullish market, if this bull market continues it's in the early stages, and therefore there could be a lot of great opportunities in Q1, and some of them may even kick off from the first week in January. Until that time, I do want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Get to take a break from the markets, maybe just observe a little bit more. I'm sure the liquidity and the volume and volatility will drip away as people go on holiday, but it's really only for about the next 2 weeks. And I want to wish you the very best, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thank you very much.